So, welcome back to the Universal Heart, the space where we explore the beauty and bravery tucked away inside every human spirit. If you're new here, this show is all about the belief that healing is an art shared by all. We dive into stories of triumph, growth, and even the hard challenges because those are the moments that remind us that we're never truly alone. Our motto is simple: real stories, real people, real heart. Today's guest is someone I've had the absolute pleasure of getting to know through my own work as a host for Village Media Spaces. When you work alongside someone in the community building world, you really get to see their heart, and Andrew has a big one. Andrew is what we would call a true multi-hyphenate. By day, he's a content coordinator for Village Media, helping to launch the hyper-local spaces platform across Ontario. But when he's not doing that, he's a musical theater and acting instructor, a director and a choreographer with the Musical Comedy Guild. He also is a die-hard sports fan, and this I know for sure. Just ask him anything about the NHL or MLB, and he's got the stats ready. And I'm not a sports person, but I know that fact about him. But what I love most about Andrew is his honesty. He's outspoken, witty, incredibly open about the fact that life isn't always a highlight reel. Sometimes it's about sitting with self-doubt and, just as he puts it, feeling your feels. Today, we're talking about bridging the gaps between the arts, journalism, and local news, and how a simple yes and mentality can change everything. So I want to welcome Andrew to the show. Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Overwhelmed by that incredible intro. Wow, that you have that down to a science. Wow, you made me sound real great.
You are great.
Thank you.
So I want to kind of jump right into things and kind of get into the many hats that you wear first off.
Sure.
So it's not often that I get to interview somebody that's actually in the media world and does interviews themselves. So this will be a bit of a treat.
I'm not usually on the other side either. So here we
We're
go.
flipping the script here. So you're a director, an instructor, a journalist, a sports fan. When somebody asks you, who is Andrew? How do you define yourself these days?
Oh, busy, tired, and excited for the future. I think my go-to is always the job that is my full-time job. So if people say, who am I? It's yeah, I'm a spaces coordinator for this super awesome media company that finally said yes to me. I think HR received probably 6 to 10 resumes from me before Village Media said, okay, let's bring this guy in for an interview finally. And a year and a bit later, here we are, launching brand new social media in not one, not two, but now 17 cities across Ontario, with only goals and hopes of making it larger. Yeah, who am
So
I? I mean, yeah, I'm a coordinator by day, but like you said, I'm a hat wearer by night. So it could depend on the day. What day did you ask me who I am or what I'm up to? That would be who I am. So
okay. So hang on a second here, because maybe there's a bit of a backstory I'm not aware of.
yeah.
Spaces, was it your idea or something you just kind of latched onto after sending in those 8 resumes?
Oh yeah, it was everything from being a desk editor to a reporter to, I'm sure, wiping the walls down when they were done for the day. And then this opportunity came about to assist with an already in place plan. Spaces had been a month, 2 months old when I jumped on board with Village Media, set up by Lacey Adelic and the rest of the Village Media team at the time. And I mean, a couple of cracks, a couple of whips get thrown in there, and I was whipped into shape. And it turns out I was already in shape for Village Media. And
Right.
that was the exciting thing, was they took a chance on me, and I made the most of it. I was hired on to take care of Northern Ontario, which at the time meant Sudbury and North Bay. we have goals for Timmins and other cities far north than that. But from the Sioux, they said Northern Ontario. Those are our two, and then we'll go from there. And Sudbury and North Bay went live in February of 2025. So almost a year ago, we had this idea that how would you feel about your own social media network in your city? That's beyond Facebook and beyond Twitter, and those things will always be there and exist. Sorry, I still call it Twitter, X now. And we've bridged the gap between finding that sweet spot of all the good things of social media, interacting with people that you want to interact with, learning about the subjects you want to learn about, celebrating the community that you live in, celebrating the bands that are there, the restaurants that are there, the city life that exists, even though, trust me, born and raised in Sault Ste. Marie, when I moved away from my undergrads, I was like, see ya, Sault Ste. Marie. I never see you again. I'm out. You have nothing for me. Wow, was I wrong?
So know that story.
I was so wrong. And I found through this Spaces venture that a lot of communities kind of feel the same way, but then they realize, wow, we have a lot to offer too. And using an opportunity like Spaces is great for that. I mean, it's the ultimate celebratory social media out there.
Right.
So anyway, it was unfortunately not my idea. I really wish it was. That's a long-winded way of saying no, not my idea. Shout out Jeff LG, Village Media CEO, who after Meta decided to ban Canadian news content,
right,
and then especially during a pandemic, how do I tell my community what is happening? How do I inform the masses if they're not on the news, or if they don't agree with Sioux Today's views, or whatever the case is? I mean, for him, it was also, why am I hearing about restaurants closing before I hear that they've opened?
That was a really big,
That's a huge deal. And now I know in North Bay, like, I'm not there. I'm still in the Sioux, but I do know that you guys have gone through it with a restaurant called Lou Dogs. Like, Lou Dogs has gone through it. And for me, that's the ultimate Spaces story is, hi, like, we are in your community. We're dying to stay here. We've established ourselves here. We want to be here. We offer all of these amazing things. Did you know?
Right.
Et cetera, et cetera. So that's where Spaces comes in, where it's not the place for Lou Dogs to maybe let people know that they have 10-cent wing night, or they don't, by the way. Don't go there for 10-cent wings. Or, just their get rich quick schemes. That's not what that is for. It's that celebratory, this musician's coming tonight, this menu item is really selling. Or the flip side, we need help. We are looking for support. We need to try to connect to the largest mass of people you can. That's Village Media's, bread and butter, is reaching the masses. I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of people every day on Bay Today headlines gets us a little slice of Spaces every day. I always say that it's not the place to go viral, but it's the only place I know that I can connect with thousands of people in North Bay in an instant.
Exactly. That's the funny thing is, a lot of people, so I actually host a number of Spaces and co-host a number of Spaces. And that's a little bit of Andrew's doing, because I actually turned it down in the beginning, and he kind of,
a lot of people
said, well, come and do the interview. And
a lot of people turned me down.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm finding that, as I start traveling more, because I've kind of pivoted my career, I'm finding that's my go-to when I'm going somewhere, is what's going on in the Sioux, what's going on in, Toronto or Huntsville or wherever. So it's kind of a neat thing to be able to just kind of go, okay, I want to go to a cool restaurant. Prime example, we went somewhere in Mississauga on our honeymoon that we were trying to figure out whether they had other locations.
Yeah.
And was able to kind of down the rabbit hole. Now, they weren't on Spaces, but that was my first go-to place to
Mississauga will get one day.
Yeah, I think this was Port Credit we were in, and we're going to London, so we wanted to see if there was a really cool place. And we just happened upon it. So, and it turns out they have one in London. We're actually going to see Come From Away in May. So
Hey, shout out Come From Away. That's a popular
Yeah,
one. I mean, it's coming to Sault
it
Ste. Marie. It's going to be
is.
rolling through Sault Ste. Marie as well. One of the theater companies scooped it up here
Yeah,
too.
it was
So
my go-to was my wife wanted to see Lion King on our honeymoon, so we went to see that. And I mentioned I wanted to see Come From Away, so she got me the tickets for Christmas.
there we go.
So the next question I have is kind of about feeling the feels, because
Yeah.
that's stood out to me in your little, I do a little interview with everyone. And you're very open about self-doubt, sadness, that kind of thing. Why do you feel it's important for people to know that it's okay to feel what they're feeling? And how do you maybe feel that, the arts or spaces or even you in your day-to-day life are able to kind of help people with that? Loaded question.
You're going to feel like I think it took me a while to come to terms with the fact that you're not invincible. Like you're going to feel. Everybody is. You're also not expected to not feel. And I think now there's this I don't know if it's through social media, like traditional social media, if it's through societal changes, if it's through I have no idea, generational thing. I think we're more and more being allowed to just feel. And I mean, mind you, theater school had a lot to do with that too. It helped me maybe learn how to feel things that maybe not weren't necessarily true at the time or like self-exploratory things. I mean, theater school is a very weird thing. If you've never done it, don't. And I don't mean that in the sense of like don't study theater. I just mean be prepared for some of the most self reflecting interperspective just weird vibes and a lot of feeling, a lot of trying to feel
Mhm.
maybe as an actor, I'm a big advocate for having a backstory, creating a character, but also letting that character feel things. I don't necessarily believe in, oh, I think my character would X. No, 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 no. Not I think my character, that's you.
Right.
You are you've
We
adopted
become them.
that. I also think through theater, it's helped me accept the fact that maybe I can explore feelings through other people, right? It's still a character. It still has to be
Mhm.
me, but I can explore maybe a part of it that's not me. So meeting so many people every day and interacting with so many people every day, you're creating a sense of being on all the time. I mean, when
Mhm.
I'm calling and I'm hanging out with people or I'm doing these interviews for hosting or just, I'm jumping from historians to city officials to people who don't have the time of day for me to people who want to talk to me for 2 hours. Like I
Right.
did yesterday with Marissa. Shout out Marissa Mills. That was an amazing chat I had with her yesterday. If you don't know her, the photography that she does is amazing, but also just her as a person, so caring, so just she cares about North Bay
She
and
does.
the people that are in it. So anyway, shout out Marissa. If you don't know her, find out who she is. And I think my parents also, after putting up with mood swings and different sides of me, and maybe not necessarily getting me, they just kind of let me feel and be me.
Mhm.
And I think that ultimately helps as well.
Yeah.
It is a loaded question, but
Do you think we
I
maybe try to stifle that a little bit in our kids these days?
what, not letting them feel.
Yeah, or are we starting to get more permissive with kids feeling what they need to feel?
See, it's so funny. I'll always say like, oh, you need to feel what you need to feel, but if you are sitting there on the floor with your kid in the grocery store being like, okay, and why are we feeling mad? No, like move, take them out the store. I was the kid who would throw a tantrum. And I'm telling you, my parents had left so many carts full of groceries in the middle of the aisle because I just couldn't handle it.
Yep, been guilty.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll be the advocate for I want people to express themselves and feel comfortable expressing themselves. And I think there is a big need for letting people feel and giving them the space and the comfortability to have those things. Maybe time and place, but at the same time, yeah, I think now, and as a teacher and from somebody who was just at an event this evening surrounded by parents and kids, and yeah, you just see them be kids, and and see them just kind of feel themselves. Yeah, I think, yeah, there's a time and place for all of those conversations. I think it's stifled if you still play a sport. Like if you're a hockey kid, you're probably not
Right.
feeling the feels. I think if you don't know, and you kind of spoiled it, I am going to go on a side tangent for a hot moment, but
That's okay.
this past year's number one draft pick, Matthew Schaefer, first overall defenseman for the New York Islanders. I had the pleasure of interviewing Matt Schaefer when he was a kid. And I mean, when he's only 18 right now. So what do you mean when he was a kid? I mean, when I was in J school, 3, 4, gosh, I don't even remember how many years ago now. It seems like a long time.
Mhm.
But I was one of Matthew Schaefer's first interviews. He was a name on a spreadsheet for me. I had no idea who the kid was. I had no idea what to expect.
Right.
And he has kind of changed the narrative of feeling feels in the NHL. I had the pleasure of interviewing both of his parents. Unfortunately, his mother is no longer with us. She lost her battle with cancer. And Matthew is not afraid to share tears for his mom and share emotion for his mom and for his family. They're the tightest family I think I've ever come to know. I don't know them necessarily, but like coming to know them, it's beautiful. And he feels his feels, dude. That guy will, if he's not crying, he's kicking your ass on the ice. So I mean, he's he's almost breaking that mold, and maybe it takes an
Right.
18-year-old to do it. And I mean, I think there are now. I think it's getting more universally accepted, if you will.
Mhm.
And then on the flip side, you have this other story that's come out where people made up all of these rumors around a goalie for the Ottawa Senators who took a leave of absence from the team. He just took a leave of absence for personal reasons, and it blew into this whole internet rumor that he was like cheating on his wife and like
Oh
XYZ.
my
And
gosh.
he didn't find out about it until somebody texted him asking if his marriage was okay. That's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
And
That's
that he came out with it in an interview with TSN, and he said that's why men don't talk. That's why men are conditioned to stay quiet,
right.
as God forbid we do something for ourselves.
And that's such a valid point,
That
is
sounded
that
mean as well. I don't mean it as a man, but
no, you know what? I don't think it didn't come off as mean. It came off as valid, in that men are not often given that permission to feel without the consequence of what's going to be said behind the scenes.
Mhm.
There's always assumptions made, whereas it's a little more, and I guess that goes into a little bit of the whole gender, stereotypical gender roles. But females are supposed to be more feeling and more, um, and I don't know about you, but I'd kind of like to see that be, kind of flipped on its head, to where it's an even playing field. you know
I think we're almost, when I
I,
say almost there, I mean, I just say that story where clearly we have so much work to do.
yeah, I mean, we're making strides, but yeah, there's
Sure.
still so much to do. um so back to the sports. I kind of
Yeah.
want to change veins a little bit here. You've got like sports trivia and like all kinds of stuff, and I've heard a little bit when we've done like meetups in person of you kind of
I retain
bantering with the
minutia. Yeah. My mother says I retain minutia.
right.
She said that when I was like 15, and it's always stuck with me. The minutia stuck with me. But yeah.
I have a kid like that. My son is very much like that, but it was science and math, and
See,
he would
my
like
parents
quote
wished it was that. No, mine was like what Family Guy skit was funniest to me. Um, what Dane Cook album was funniest to me, and like that's,
okay.
yeah, my mom and I vibed over Dane Cook, which like maybe not the person to vibe over. Hilarious though. We still quote some of his stuff in the office even. Anytime we
Oh
hear the
wow.
sirens or the tires squeal outside the office, it's like, where are my shoes? And only the people who know about Dane Cook will get that reference. So yeah.
So do you find that any of that kind of like diehard fan energy like ever translates into kind of how you approach your arts or your work?
Oh,
Um,
yeah, because
you are
they're
diehard.
yeah, because they're the same. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Pro wrestling is just acting. Like pro wrestling is it's acting. It's theater. Pro wrestling is theater.
Yeah,
It's makeup and sound and
choreography.
promos and choreography and it's got drama, it's got comedy, it's everyone's favorite sitcom and everyone's favorite daytime drama all wrapped into a ridiculous thing called pro wrestling. Yeah, I think being a passionate guy, that you it helps. I think it also, I mean, high energy. That's always kind of been where I'm at. If you haven't noticed by now,
Not at all.
yeah, kind of high energy, kind of talk with my hands, very out there. And excuse me, that was my zero sugar cranberry 7 Up. There we go. Yeah, it has definitely helped.
Mhm.
I try to stay as passionate as I can, and you find the love in it. I think the thing about sports is you accept loss really fast, and you
Mhm.
get over loss really fast. An NHL season is 82 games. You're not going to win every single one. You can't dwell on that random loss that you had in February.
Right.
You know, same goes with, let's say, spaces, or village media or theater. If you go out there and forget a line in a show,
Mhm.
okay, the next time you go on stage, you can't be thinking about that because you're going to forget again.
Right.
You can't be thinking that the audience even realized you forgot a line. It's theater has been a blessing in the sense of it's taught me to forget it. Like, which is
Right.
crazy. Let it happen, move on. I hold myself to a very high standard when it comes to that. And as somebody who just finished a show where the opening night happened, I came off stage at intermission and I slammed the bathroom door and I basically was like, get your effing head in the game. You are such a loser because
Yeah.
I forgot 2 words in a song. Are you kidding? 3
Wow.
months worth of work and you're going to stare at yourself in the mirror and say that? And guess what? I went out there at the second act and had a way better second act, and then the
Mhm.
next night was a new night, and the rest of the run was incredible.
Right.
And do I look back on that moment and say, "Wow, like, you're so foolish for doing that?" No, because that's my competitiveness. That's an inner
Mhm.
competitiveness that I have with myself that I set myself up to that standard because I know I can reach it. And the same goes with, when you play a sport. These guys aren't going out there with the expectation that they're going to lose, but always with the expectation or the idea that I'm better than this person.
Right.
Even if you've lost 8 games in a row, you have to think you're better than that person next. And when it comes to theater, I mean, yeah, it's the same. It's okay. Yeah, it's one song. Like, move on. You're about to go out there in the second act and sing 3 more.
Right.
You've got 3 more chances to figure it out, and you either do or you don't. And I think I also like that sort of unknowingness, or
Right.
that sort of, well, let's take a chance. I like taking chances, and that's how it goes with spaces too. It's not always going to be a win. When I reach out to somebody and I tell them about this social media platform, and they are immediately like, yeah, that sounds like a super awesome thing. I can't wait to check it out. And then we sign off and I send them an email and then I never hear from them again. I don't take that personally.
No.
I don't I don't
Like
think,
all
oh,
those business cards we hand out.
yeah, like I don't think, oh, you know what? I'm not going to reach out to that person anymore. I probably will. I'll probably reach out to you twice now because I know you're ignoring me.
Mhm.
Just that go get itness. I don't know, something about that. I never, because I traded in a hockey bag for a dance bag, if you will. I chose a dance
Mhm.
bag at 6 years old. It wasn't, and in a hockey town, that's a bold move.
Right. So
um,
you mentioned that actually that the Sioux is very much a hockey
yeah.
sports
Oh yeah.
town,
Oh
but
yeah.
that you also mentioned that it loves its arts. So,
Oh yeah.
what's it been like to kind of watch that community support grow for the arts?
It's so awesome. It's so much fun to walk onto a stage, whether it's in a show where I'm allowed to acknowledge it or a show that I have to contain it. Um, when I'm hosting things in Sault Ste. Marie, and or if the show is a little bit more intimate, I just did a Christmas show, let's say, that was it was pretty intimate. I walked on stage and I, instead of starting the song, I looked at the Deneen Williams, who was the lead and doing the show, and I just said, Deneen, before we start, I just want to interrupt and hijack this thing for a second. And I looked around the room, and those people could have been at the Greyhound game that was happening downtown, like 500, that was a bad way of doing math. Let's say like 5 major intersections. I was going to say like yards or feet or whatever. I was like, I clearly don't know that. 5 major intersections away, they could have all been there, and they chose to come to a live music performance, a celebration of song, a celebration of people they didn't even know they might see. It was Deneen Williams featuring guests, and like she would release some guests on social media, but I didn't know everybody that was going to be there. And I think that was
Right.
part of the fun. Every show that I do, it's so incredible to just see new faces or returning faces. And I don't know, there's a part of you that, you'd be silly to say there's not a part of you that doesn't get a kick out of you doing a show, and then a few days after it's closed, or a week or 2 or even a month after, somebody recognizing you in the mall, or somebody coming to you at a store and being like, "Oh, you were part of that show we just saw." Like that, thank you. And that for me is like that's money. I don't think, I can't say this for sure, but like I don't necessarily know if a lot of like the athletes in town get thanked for changing somebody's life.
Right.
Um, I'm sure a handful of Sioux Greyhounds would get thanked for giving somebody high blood pressure, or things like that. Like on their power play. Yeah, that's right. This is for Brad. That one's for Brad Kochmelio. But like that's, I think there's something special about that, and to see that grow over time has been awesome. It's part of why I have loved coming home. It's part of why, since the pandemic and moving back to Sault Ste. Marie and
Mhm.
getting myself involved in as many things as possible. I host Rotary Fest, which is a big summer
Right.
festival that we
That's
do in Sault
amazing.
Ste. Marie, and to see that even in the last 3 years grow and grow
Mhm.
and grow. Now that's all due to probably, the acts and the weather, and all of those things play into things in a small town, as you know.
Mhm.
But there's something special when there's music or live performance that happens in Sault Ste. Marie. And yeah, it's been, I truly never thought I would necessarily see it, because I was such an advocate that this city was diehard for sports, diehard for being an academic, if you
Mhm.
will. I went to a high school that doesn't exist anymore, but Sir James Dunn was all about athletics and all about academics, and I didn't do either of those. I did
It's
the arts. I did the other A word that they didn't really do. And yeah, I mean, here we are.
it's funny
And
how the
no,
arts
but
kind of gets that kind of that middle tier, right? It's not really top, it's not really bottom, but yet it's kind of not.
no, exactly. And I think it's, I mean, like you said earlier, it's made strides. I think
Mhm.
now it's almost more expected or accepted, that the theater is going to happen. There's going to be shows that happen every X number of months, X number of
Mhm.
weeks, even if it's live shows like playing a band. I mean, we've got
Mhm.
over 20 of them that happen every single weekend, every single week. And
Right.
it's so cool to just know that people want that. Like the people crave that.
I think that maybe that is the one, I hesitate to use the word, but the one positive coming out of the pandemic was the fact that people realized how much they missed the arts.
Yeah.
And those were all the things that suffered, that were closed, that were shut down, that you could not do on your own. I mean, sports,
Which
yes,
was so
but
silly. I'm sorry.
I
And some of
know.
that was silly. And as an actor, it was crazy because as an actor in Toronto, you are now without work because you shut down
Mhm.
all of my theaters.
Yeah,
Okay, no problem. I'll go back to my daytime job, which is a bartender. Oh, never mind. You
you shut
also
down
shut
all the
down
bars.
restaurants and bars. What the heck are we going to do?
Yeah.
And if there's, like you said, ironically, there's probably a small list I could put together of positives that came out of the pandemic. And
Mhm.
uh, people might be in the minority by, agreeing with me, but I do think at the end of the day, there were some positives that came out of it.
Mhm.
Um, and one of them, like you said, was this, oh, I really miss singing and dancing at a bar.
Mhm.
I really miss hanging out with my friends. I really miss the social aspect of meeting somebody new. I miss taking a step back at, midnight at a busy night and taking it all in. Like
Mhm.
there was really something to I don't get that experience at home.
Right.
I don't get that. It's the social interaction. We're humans. All humans have ever known is social interaction. And then technology came, and then cell phones came, and then this desire to not have to talk to anybody came.
Mhm.
And the norm of or the comfortability of hiding behind a screen is still there. I am so blessed to work in an office that encourages you to be in the office and encourages you to invite people to the office. And I'll
Right.
tell you right now, the last 3 or 4 meetings that I've had at the office have blown people away about what they see. It's the operation behind it all. It's not just people at a desk chasing car accidents and
Mhm.
yelling at our MPP who's an idiot. I can say that. He threw a high chair at somebody. I can say that.
Right.
That's on the record too. It's it's so much more than that. It's people connecting with people. It's hearing people's stories.
Mhm.
It's what we didn't get during the pandemic,
Right.
all in this super awesome space known as the office. But we're getting that everywhere. And yeah, I think if there's anything the pandemic taught us was that it's okay to want to hang out with your friends, and you should. You should
Mhm.
want to go out. And if you don't have people who want to go out with you, just go out. Go out and do one thing. Like I will go out and shop at the same 3 stores with my fiance every single weekend and buy nothing. But
Yeah.
it's the idea of just going out. I just need to go
Mhm.
out. My dad is the same way. My dad every day is telling my mother, "Let's go out. Let's go out. Let's go out." Even if it's just for a drive. It's just
Right.
socialization. It's what we're meant to do. So, let's do more of that.
So I suppose that Spaces is kind of a perfect platform for you then, if that's kind of your mentality is the connect and go out and just, but how has working with a hyper local platform like Spaces, and I know you manage, multiple different cities, for lack of a
Sure.
better, how has it changed the way that you see your own neighbors?
My own neighbors?
Mhm.
Holy smokes. Funny enough, it's made me not see my neighbors at all because of how busy I am. It has made me realize if you went door to door down your street right now and
Mhm.
you asked every single person who answered the door to tell them one thing or to tell you one thing about themselves that they don't know, or just tell me one thing about yourself that you think everybody should know.
Okay.
There's a chance 90% of the time you are going to hear something so unique, so fascinating, so unexpected that it makes you want to learn more.
Hmm.
And there's something really beautiful about the hyper local aspect of a social media that allows you to explore learning more about the people who bag your groceries, the people
Right.
who might play a live show on the weekend and you know them as the guitar player from Bourbon Blue, but you have no idea that Jules Cote is actually a super awesome guy and that he started, another band, and he's done all of these things, and he's a real person. Like, he's got a story to tell. I think Spaces has been that perfect thing to help me realize that, yeah, even though there are 8 cars in my neighbor's driveway sometimes, and sometimes they're all down the street, and I can't park in front of my own house because of how many people were there. If you went over there and you asked all of those 8 people something about them, they're going to tell me something so cool that probably makes me forget all that stupid stuff that doesn't mean anything.
Right. All the memories.
And yeah, all that stuff that is like right there in front of you, and that's why you're mad at it, because you can see it and it's impacting you in that exact moment. But maybe you actually go over there and you find out something really great. Maybe that person got promoted and they're all celebrating something. Maybe it's negative, maybe it's the opposite. But even then, it's okay. Now I have the opportunity to learn about somebody who may not be here anymore, but now I've got 8 people who are going to be able to tell me a hell of a lot about somebody.
Right.
And it's really cool to look at your neighbors now and think, what do you do behind those walls
Mhm.
versus I don't care what you do behind those walls. You're my neighbor, be my neighbor, or you're not my friend. No, your neighbors were the lifeblood of community. They always will be. I don't know. My grandparents owned a campground in Thessalon, Ontario, which is just outside of Sault Ste. Marie,
Mhm.
and they didn't necessarily have like next door neighbors. So the campers were their neighbors. They were the people who would support them, and even my other set of grandparents, they had neighbors who, yeah, they would bring them vegetables. They would bring them baked goods. They would share meals together. They
Mhm.
would help each other if their roof needed fixing, if their car needed fixing. And there's now almost this weird, not weird stigma, but there's this sense of, I don't know if I should get to know my neighbor. I
Yeah.
don't know if I should, like, we're almost, don't bother me unless I need, like, don't talk to me unless I need to be
Mhm.
talked to, or like, it's weird. Like,
It is.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. And maybe it's that
And
Southern,
then
and I'm not knocking Southern Ontario. I did 11 years there. I love
no, but
all of my friends down there, but there's that mentality down there of, you're my neighbor,
mhm.
period. But we forget all of that, like, oh, they're also a person who feels things, who
Mhm.
has a life, who has a story, and maybe that person might need me one day, so I should get to know their name. Because, yeah, I might need their help, but in turn they might need mine, and they can't call
Mhm.
for me because I haven't made myself available either. Um,
Right. Like,
I
gone
mean,
are the days of, like, block parties and things
no,
that you used to do to get to know,
yeah, it just
my
doesn't
aunt and
happen now.
uncle live just off of Bloor Street in Toronto, and their street used to shut down once every summer and have a huge block party. And I don't think, I mean, I'm going on 50, and I don't think I've heard of them doing it in the last probably 35 years. But it used to be the thing. Like, we would go down to go to this block party with them. So it's, we've kind of stepped away from a lot of that connection.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's an idea of, you think you might not have something in common with them.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if it's as dramatic or as, intense as, oh, they don't look like me or they don't dress like me, so I'm not
Mhm.
interested in being their friend, which, given what's happening around the world right now, there is a lot of that. And that's so unfortunate, because I'm telling you right now, I have never met more fascinating people than those who do not look a single thing like me.
Right.
I'll tell you that for a fact. And if
Mhm.
you want to debate me on that, I will win.
I think we almost need to flip that script, right? Because or flip the outcome from, they don't have anything in common with me. They don't know who I am. They don't look like me. They don't dress like me. Their traditions may be different than mine. Their customs may not be the same.
And that's what makes them so cool. That's
right?
what makes them so fascinating.
And then there's that whole, like, let's flip it. And maybe getting to know them, like, have you ever thought about the problems it could eliminate by getting to know your neighbors again?
Yeah.
There's so many things that go on that, prime example, my mother is a senior living on her own, pretty much. An unknown car in a driveway. If a neighbor knows who are the normal people, some weird vehicle stalking the neighborhood for, that might trigger something because they know that doesn't, and we've lost that somewhere. So maybe it's time to start flipping that script again and getting to know them. But how is the, and I think
it's how, right? And that's why I'm always like, it's going to sound corny, not just because I'm wearing the shirt, but like, Spaces is a really good way to do that because we're giving you the opportunity to jump into a topic of interest in your city and hide behind a screen.
Yeah.
And still post. You still like use your name. If you want to use your name and an initial, fine. Like whatever you have to say, if you're going to say it to a person, you should be able to post it online theoretically. And I think that's the beauty of Spaces too, is that everything's very honest there. And we're giving people that opportunity where if you're super into climbing, hop into a climbing space and just say like, hey, I haven't admitted this before, but I love watching YouTube videos late at night about rock climbing. Anybody else? And guess what? That space already has like 300-400 plus people in it, which means there's an interest there. Yeah. So you're going to find somebody who has that interest. Then you might find out that they live down the street from you, or that they live around the corner, or that you went to school together, or something is going to connect you guys beyond your shared interest.
And often to people that you don't even think would be interested.
It's always the person you least expect. And that's what I love about my job is I find these like least expected stories, I guess, every single day. It's part of the reason why I'm really glad that Village has kind of shifted Spaces into being under, Jasmine Rowley and the CARES team at Sue today. And yeah, we're just surrounded by people who care about people and people who want to learn about other people. It's I don't know. You obviously live in the same community for a reason. You can't be that different. Like it's not just a place to live. Like there's a reason you're both here. Talk. You will find out why.
And I'm finding that with Spaces is the more people that come on board, I'm surprised how many I know that I never would have thought to recommend or that I ever thought would have an interest in doing it that have come on board and are doing it. And I'm kind of like, oh, wow, okay, how did that person end up? Like Marissa and had no clue I was a co-host with her husband at that point.
I didn't even realize they were husband and wife until she brought it
up.
It
was at my wedding reception.
Yeah, she brought it up like on a whim yesterday. And she kind of brought it up like off the cuff. She was just kind of like, yeah, like my hubby knows he needs to post more and da da da. And I was like, huh? And then I immediately went, oh my God, Mills, duh.
Yeah. So Reed, I'm calling you out because I don't think you've actually posted. So
I did. I then called him out too. I then was like,
okay.
I don't think that's great.
So here's the other thing is the arts and journalism are like two different worlds at times. Yeah. I mean, they're both a facet of the arts. Writing is definitely an art. But where do you finally see them kind of meeting up? Where do you see them kind of connecting? Because that's one of our big themes is connection.
So the arts and journalism?
The arts and journalism. Where do you find them kind of connecting?
That's a fun one because journalism, that'd be such a bougie answer, but like journalism is art in so many ways. I think the number one way that you find that cohesiveness obviously is like through through reading, through writing, you're experiencing a form of journalism. I think that's an important note, is like every form of writing in the arts is a form of journalism in some way. I mean, lyrics to songs are just statement, you know what I mean? Like they kind of,
Right.
they're statements, or they're poems or things like that. As corny as it is, I mean, like, read a review once in a while. You're going to find some incredible piece of journalism there. I think having a bit more of that acceptance in creative writing is important too. And the more you see a bit more of that columns, or uh, I guess personal pieces, or that sort of opinion pieces, there's more of that out there, and there's more willingness for organizations like Bay Today or Sue Today to run stories like that. Um, I think giving them equal voice is where you're going to find a lot of that happy ground as well.
Right.
It's more than just running a press release for a show. I mean, what I do with Spaces, I've given life to shows that were looking for it, or I've given a story to an actor who never once thought that they'd get their opportunity to have a story about them told. And I get to do it in a way that allows me to work on my writing and my, I guess, journalistic, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I don't even know the word I was looking for there. All of the good habits. Yeah. All my journalistic habits, and like those good things that I need to, how to write and express myself through my writing. Because that's the other thing too, is like when I'm writing all day or I'm connecting with people all day, I'm not necessarily expressing myself. So I do enjoy being able to express myself a little bit through these features that I write about actors or singers or bands or just artists. I just had the pleasure of writing a bit of a series for my friend Jeffrey Wright, who's putting on a show called Hurt. It's a tribute to Johnny Cash. He's been taking the Sioux and all the way from Wawa to Elliott Lake, really, like, by storm. And between that and his other show, The Highwaymen Live Forever, he is really embracing the man in black, if you will. And I was able to tell a story of a couple of his band members, and a couple of people who are working in tech for his show through Spaces. And it was so cool even today to I wrote Jeffrey's today, but I was able to talk to him a bit about the one that I wrote yesterday. He's a tech guy. His name's Hayden Jackson. He's awesome. His answers were so poetic for somebody who doesn't be on stage. It was, they were thought provoking, and they made me think, and they made me appreciate what I do as an actor, because it means that the person who sees more of these shows than anybody else, the sound guy or the lighting guy, like those two people, they see the GBU, I call it, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? They see it all. And his interview was the best. I mean, for me, because it allowed me to realize, one, what we're doing as actors means something. And again, it's one of those stories of, that was a perfect way for art to meet journalism, because I got a chance to write about somebody who views art in such a unique way that it creates a different opportunity for perspective to maybe be changed, or for somebody to read that and go, huh, being a sound guy actually sounds pretty cool, or running lights for a show sounds really awesome. I want to explore more of that. It doesn't always have to be the people who say the most on stage. Chances are those people are super boring. Trust me, I'm one of those people, and we're not that exciting.
So I know I said about 45 minutes, but I have a couple last questions.
No problem. I'll keep them short, I promise.
So local news as healing is one of the subheaders I have. Can local news and community storytelling actually be a form of healing for a city when something is happening in that area? Or is it more of an instigator? And how are we kind of addressing that? And I think spaces is one way, but in general, how are we actually, using journalism as a form of healing?
Telling all sides of a story matter.
Mm-hmm.
Giving a voice to every person within a story matters. And accountability matters. And that last one for me is a big one because I will go to bat for the journalists who I know go to bat for our city.
Mm-hmm.
And they will admit if they get it wrong. We're not perfect. We are people. Um, Through the work that we do with the CARES team and things like the 12 days of giveaways that they do in the Sioux during Christmas time,
Mm-hmm.
and the partnerships and the works that we're doing with hospices around Ontario. We just ran that big promotion the end
Right.
of last year. Uh, Telling those stories of healing and of just honesty and yeah, using journalism to heal 100%. In turn, I know how much it aggravates people when the comments are turned off or when they feel like they don't have a voice or they feel like they're being censored. It's not because we want to shut you out. It's not because local news or journalism is trying to make you feel a certain way or trying to get you to align with a set of views that you might not. It's there are so many people out there with varying degrees of opinions,
Mm-hmm.
and chances are there's only like one or two people out there in the world who are able to monitor that one section. And the reality sometimes is that I could spend all day moderating comments. And I know that sounds crazy and like, oh, why do you have to moderate them anyway? Because I'll be honest, you are, and I say you, like just general listeners,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, we are not perfect. We are not angels. We do not say things the right way every time. I always grew up with, Andrew, it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's 90% of how comments are. We would be able to keep comments on if people remembered it's not what you said, it's how you said it.
Right.
And that's going to make a lot of people mad probably by hearing that. And I might, and I'm not trying to upset
No.
anybody. When we tell those good stories and we tell the good news stories and we share that good light on things, 90% of the feedback is so positive. But believe it or not, there's always that 10% that somehow the story of the war veteran who finally is receiving their medals after 50 plus years of not knowing where they were, somehow 10% of the readers were upset by that because how dare they take 50 years to get them to them.
Right.
I'm sorry. If you read the story, you'd find out it's because they were under lock and key or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
story is. You have to read beyond the headlines and you have to be willing to read more than one perspective to hear a story.
Right.
And that's hard for people. It's hard for people to accept that there might be more than one way of looking at it. But believe
Mm-hmm.
it or not, we don't all tie our shoes by making the two loops and then feeding it under. Some people actually in this world start with the loops and then go from there. And that's insane behavior. But there are people there who do it. There are
Mm-hmm.
people out there who put the roll of toilet paper backwards. And by backwards, I mean who put it this way. If the roll is like this and it's like this, no, that's wrong. This way. Pull it down, not pull it under. But like little things like that where there is no necessarily right or wrong way of doing it, but acknowledging when we get it wrong is important, but also
Mm-hmm.
celebrating when we get it right is also important. So yeah, we're seeing it in Sault Ste. Marie. A lot of positivity around the city in many ways.
Mhm.
And we're also opening up the opportunity for people to have those hard conversations. Like you said, on spaces is a neat
Mhm.
one. We are starting to maybe create the idea of maybe we move all of the comments over to spaces. Let's
Mm,
let's still give people the opportunity to talk. I want that.
that's interesting.
And you put it all on social media, so it's free reign, right?
Right.
And now we can maybe start to here's the story, let's talk about it. And then we keep the news sites just kind of clean of discussion, if you will. The
Right.
story's the story, and if you want to dispute the story, let's
Have your dispute
chat
over
about it.
here
Let's
where
chat
it's
about it. But then, and that's okay. Like I think if we then look at the platform as an opportunity to just give
mhm.
people the voice and the community their voice back, that's the name of the game, right?
And I think that goes back to breaking it up into manageable chunks, because then you have 20 moderators or 20 people that can respond as opposed to two.
Yep.
Which is huge, and that's 20 different voices that
Mhm.
may have a different take on that, that can all chime in, because we all see what, as hosts, what goes on in the other spaces. So having that, degree of varying, um, for lack of a better word, opinions
Mhm.
could be a really beneficial thing in
That's
giving
why we
people
have
that platform. Because I know I've had a lot of comments from people saying, well, this article ran, why the heck can't I comment? And it's not fair, and it's been censored
Mhm.
because it's this. There was a feature on Bay Today last week about a member of council here, and the comments were turned off. And I mean, the nature of the article, I can understand why.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, giving a platform on Spaces to have that dialogue, you know, I could see that being beneficial as well.
I think depending on the story, we need it.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we still have to turn comments off on every transport truck accident that goes on because of I don't know where that all started. I don't know where it came from. I don't
Mhm.
know, but the fact that we have to on every transport story, and if you've ever read one, you know why.
Mhm.
It's horrible.
It
I will
is.
never understand where that came from. But until the people who like read and consume, and until us as a population don't go there first
Mhm.
and look at it as a is that person okay? Like, is the situation resolved?
Mhm.
How can we help if there is an issue? Those should be your first three things.
Right.
Should not be the other things. And I don't
No.
even have to mention them, but that's why we have to
And I
operate
think
the way
that
that we do.
that goes largely back to what we were talking about getting to know your neighbors and getting to know who people are, what they do, what their background is, what they're trained, getting to know the people that are actually out doing the work,
Yep.
as opposed to just sitting behind a screen looking at one take, because, and yeah, I mean, for lack of to go back to an old saying, it is black and white, and it's not changing. So once it's there, there's no kind of give and take. It's the article is the article.
Yep.
Read between the lines, don't read between the lines. Your personal beliefs are going to, pardon the expression, but jade or skew your intake of that article or
Mhm.
your mentality towards it. So, maybe having the dialogue where somebody can point out and say, hey, have you ever considered thinking about it this way?
Or hey, and that's what I love about spaces as well, as
Mhm.
much as people are going to get sick about hearing it.
Mhm.
The neat thing that we have in that on the platform are the inside spaces, like inside
Mhm.
Sioux Today, inside Bay Today. And the idea behind those spaces, I think often even gets lost among staff members who are there to use those spaces. It's not necessarily a space for me to just promote my stuff as a writer, and it's not for the reporters to go in there and gloat about the things that they're writing. It's a perfect spot for them to share an explanation on why they
Why
wrote the
they wrote
piece
it.
the way that they did. And one of our reporters, David Helwig, has done that a couple of times, has hopped into spaces, shared the article that he's talking
Wow.
about, and has gone in there to say, I wrote this the way because X, or there's a reason why we at Sue Today X, Y, and Z. And
Right.
that ruffles feathers. And he knows that. But
Hmm.
that's the point of it. It's I'm a person. I live in your city and I eat at the same restaurants as you and I go to the same gym as you. And I talked to the people in this story and this is what they told me, which is why
Hmm.
the story is the way that it is.
Yeah.
If they told you something else and you want to comment, please do. There's also a lot of I want to tell you things, but I want to have anonymity. And I agree, anonymity is a
Hmm.
great thing. But as we've seen on even social media like Facebook, anonymous posting, yo, that is whack.
Yeah.
Everything about it is whack. It's crazy. We don't do it. We don't love it. It's why Spaces promotes or has the preference, sorry, of real name.
Hmm.
I don't if your name isn't actually John Doe, but that's the name you signed up with on Spaces, I can't control that.
No.
It's like you can't control your kids saying yes, they're 18 to a
Hmm.
website they're not 18 to, or whatever the case might be. Like you can't
Yeah.
control those things.
You can't control it,
But
but I think with Spaces, there's a little bit more of a
it's authentic.
there's a few more checks and balances in there.
Yeah, you have to
You
go
know?
through a few more steps and like sure, we
Yeah,
make
and
sure that you're real, but it's
there's kind of a network to rely on too for the
yeah.
hosts, though, that
Yep.
allows us to kind of go back. I know quite a few times I've sent you something and gone, "What do you think about?" And is this an appropriate action to take?
Mhm.
And you've been like, yes, no, maybe, here's how you can, so there's that kind of network amongst the hosts. They're not just, you know, bots or random people, they're actual people
Yeah.
who are, reading these things and feel like everyone else. They have emotions, they have thoughts, they have, they're not AI generated.
And the cool thing about our hosts is they're the strongest people out there, and I don't mean that in a corny way, I mean that in the most serious way
Mhm.
possible because there's a reason why we encourage having multiple hosts who carry multiple voices and maybe multiple viewpoints in a space, because you might not agree with everything that gets posted in there, and that's okay. It's okay to not agree. You do not have to delete everything you don't agree with. You won't. Just move on. It does not affect you. Just move
Exactly.
on. And
And
you
that's a
and
bit of
I
a
have
learning curve.
and like we've joked, we've had our share of
Yep.
people that we've had to navigate through and experiences we've had to move through, and that's I love that. That's all part of the
Mhm.
game of life, if you will. But yeah, that's the beauty of it is your community is going to have so many voices that aren't necessarily right or wrong. They're
Mhm.
voices, they're community voices. They're valued, they carry weight, and I just love the fact that we can
So,
celebrate all of that.
so on the line of community and
Yeah.
community growth, when you see the community grow and you see that kind of that growth, that expansion of spaces of the Sioux, of North Bay, of all these different places, what does that light kind of feel like to you personally? How do you respond to seeing those communities suddenly take off?
Like what I'm doing now. Like I get excited. I get genuinely fired up knowing that the communities are embracing it. They're embracing this new, weird, fun, totally relatable thing that they do every day. The first thing people do every day is they check their social media. Why would you not want to make it a part of your day to first thing find out what's going on in your community? Like that should
Mhm.
be a no-brainer. I don't care what's going on in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Australia. The moment I wake up, I probably will at some point. I love all of those places. Shout out to anybody who's listening from those places. I love those places. My first thing in the morning shouldn't be content or consumption of things that don't matter to me.
Right.
So when I see those numbers grow, it proves to me that what we are doing is working, and it
Mhm.
proves to me that the desire for the communities to grow and the desire for the communities to think outside the box is there. The
Right.
want the want for something new is there. The desire for reconnection is there. The fact that there are now, I think after today, 1,000+ people finally in North Bay spaces is incredible. You
Wow.
would not know that based off of likes or
Mhm.
people engaging with the content. Like, those numbers are still low. Like, I'm not here to say that
I
I'm
had
gonna,
my first one this week.
and it happens. And sometimes you're like, oh my goodness, I finally have somebody interested in an event or clicking going or responding to a message or asking a question or
Mhm.
like, finally it's there. And it's just going to take time.
Right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's what my boss told me from day one, not just Jeff LG, but my boss, David Turkstra, said the same thing. Like,
Mhm.
I call him my boss. He's the boss. He's a boss. He's like 6'8", never remembers who I am. It's crazy. He's awesome.
Wow.
Oh yeah, we joke about that all the time. Met him 3 times. He says nice to meet you every time. It's pretty great. And he doesn't mean it maliciously. We joke about it all the time. Like, he
Right.
obviously does remember who I am. It's just when you're in this situation and you're in this sort of business and you're meeting so many people all the time,
Mhm.
it's bound to happen. Um, I get so excited knowing that the communities are excited,
Right.
and there's just something about seeing those numbers grow for me that just, I don't live in every community that I serve. But I think it also, when you talk about full circle and you want to talk about feeling the feels, it allows me to actually feel excited and like feel proud of what I'm doing. And
Right.
there's something really special about that. Like, I don't know, maybe when you grow up having a little bit of that, depression, you feel like you're not good enough, or you feel like what you're doing isn't good enough. And little victories like that, or seeing little things like that as you get older, it's like, oh, okay, nobody has to always tell me that I'm doing a good job because it's around you. You're seeing it.
Right.
And allowing me now as a 32-year-old and who's growing up and who's still exploring pieces of myself, I take those as opportunities to celebrate as a win. Like, be proud of yourself, dude.
Mhm.
You're obviously doing something right, or people are so annoyed by it that they're just signing up so they can see what it's all about. Good, good. Get annoyed, sign up. I win either way. You're there. Once you're
Right.
there, you're not going away. That's the one thing that I can tell you is I do not have people actively messaging me saying, please delete my account. I don't care about my community. I don't want to be here.
Right.
Nope, doesn't happen. And if it does, they always come crawling back.
So I have one last question. Um, you refer to the yes end
Yeah.
as being a kind of an improv rule, and you said it
Yeah.
extends beyond the classroom. Um, so I want to get you to kind of elaborate a little bit on what the yes end um, rule is, but then I want to know what if listeners could leave today with just one yes and moment in their own lives, where should they start? That's in J school, the bomb question.
Yeah, it was. I was like, ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's the kind of question where if I was a celebrity, I would say that my microphone or like my camera cut out and we'd all of a sudden have to end the interview.
Sorry.
I think yes and okay, so for people who don't know, yes and, I mean, that's in improv or in theater, if you do not yes and, you are not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting your cast members, or you're hurting your scene partner or the people that you're working with. And do you really want to be the one to let everybody down? No, nobody likes feeling like that. So you yes and. An example, if two people enter a scene and one person is brushing their teeth or making the movement of brushing their teeth, and I, as their scene partner, go, "What are you doing?" And I reply with, oh, I'm searching for that popcorn kernel that I can't find, and I'm just doing this. I'm not going to say, no, you're not, you're doing this. It's yes, and let me help you. And now I'm going to open your mouth for you, and I'm going to help you start to get in there. And we're going to build this looking for this kernel. I'm going to remove the shirt off your back and shake it out and start looking for this. Like, it's yes and.
Okay.
Your opportunities in life extend to yes and. If you get told you're going to start this job at this new media company for yourself that wants you to put together a couple of social media platforms in Sudbury and North Bay, and we want you to do it by a certain date, you say yes and. And for me, it was yes, I took on those two. And when can I start taking on more? It creates opportunities. So where can people start with yes and? It's as simple as talking to your neighbor. Yes, I will say hi and ask my neighbor how they're doing as we're walking to our cars in the morning. Yes, I will go over and invite them over to, my house for dinner or for a barbecue. And it's moments like that where if you get that invite, say yes, because it's yes and I will bring something there and you can maybe try a dish that comes from my hometown. Yes, and I'm going to bring my wife who is an immigrant to this country. Yes, and you're going to get a chance to meet really cool people.
I love that.
Go to a restaurant you've never tried before. Oh, I don't think I would like it. Or yes, I will go and I will try something that's familiar to me on the menu. Right. Every restaurant has French fries. Like, try them. Start there. Every restaurant has soup or something. Like, try there. I will always advocate for yes and. I think, I'm sure my fiance is listening to that in the other room thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to get him with, let's try this. I mean, I never thought I would enjoy the Housewives series. Like, Bravo's got Real Housewives of every single city in America. Crazy. It's American cities, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying. I can say that because my fiance is a dual citizen. So I never thought I would enjoy it. One day I said yes and guess what? I cannot wait for part 2 of the reunion episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like, I'm fired up. I think it drops tonight or tomorrow night. Like, I'm ready for it. I need it in my life. Yes, and has been, I don't know, I guess just the best thing that theater school kind of teaches you and doing an improv class teaches you, because it quite literally just opens the door for more possibilities. Right. Yes will always lead to more opportunities than no. It always will.
So I shouldn't have said no to you in the beginning.
I think, how about this? You saying no to me, you said no, and I went, yes. It. I went, yes. And
just do the interview.
Try it? Like, yes, you said no to me, and I can accept that after you give me a chance.
Right.
That's pretty good, right? Like,
it was.
And that's probably how I wore down my fiance too. It was like, yes, and you could say yes to go out to dinner with me.
Yeah. You're pretty persuasive.
And if you hate it, that's okay, because it's like, yes, you tried it and you hated it. That's okay. I love
that concept though.
There's something to that, right? Everybody should just embrace that at least once. Yes, I will walk that extra half mile today, even though it's going to kill me. and I will reward myself after.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Or
Starting with
yes,
the
I will
small
do it
things.
today and it won't hurt as much tomorrow, or it won't hurt as much the next time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you're just building yourself up by accepting yes and.
It's
Yes,
amazing.
I will be on the other side of a podcast and I will take up more time than you want to take up.
Which is
Yes,
completely
and.
fine. So for those of you that don't know, Andrew was the first person I approached with the concept for doing these podcasts, as well as the magazine that I just launched. And he was super supportive and was like, hey, let's figure out how we can, work this into like multiple things, and was amazingly supportive. And I need to really thank you for that, because I don't know that, aside from my wife being supportive, I don't know that I would have taken that step. And I was just filling you in before we started recording that, the views and whatnot for it have been phenomenal compared to what I even thought with minimal promotion.
Yep.
But the magazine focusing on strictly Northern Ontario is something I'm finding people want, connecting the stories, as opposed to, I'm not doing hard-hitting news. I'm not doing, I mean, there's a little bit of it thrown in there, but I'm doing the stories behind the people, and, picking the little places. Like last week, the issue featured the oh my gosh, the name just went out of my head. The outpost in Batchewana Bay.
If I don't have it up, I did, and if I
Yeah, it's
said
on the side
something,
of
my
the
screen will mess
it's
up.
on the side of the highway by Pancake, or by Pancake Bay campground. But anyways, featuring just little spots and little stories, and I'm finding it's connecting people. I had an opportunity to interview an artist from Lac Seul, which was phenomenal, and yeah, it's really neat to connect with different people. And so I do need to thank you for kind of being that, hey, yeah, go ahead and try it. I think it's a great idea, because I probably wouldn't have. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Again, it's yes and. It's yes, you should do this, and it's going to do well.
Yeah, it's
It blew my mind when I heard that maybe not everybody was on board with the idea, and I'm so excited that, one, it's kind of taken off the way that you hoped, maybe. I mean, like, deep down, come on, like, that
yeah.
we hope that, right?
I mean, I'm
And
excited that there's
yeah,
1,000 views on the last issue.
but this is what I mean, like, and that's 1,000 people who care about the stories.
Mm-hmm.
There are more people out there who care about the stories than, I guess, the result driven
Mm-hmm.
sort of narratives that we in media and in journalism, I mean, that's what we're chasing, right? It's resolve, it's finishing conflict, it's hopefully not creating conflict, but again, if we do create conflict, it's let's acknowledge that we did, and like let's try to
And
move
kind of
on.
move on.
Or
And
how
yeah,
can
how can
we
we?
do better next time, right? Yes,
My
we
wife's
messed up.
phrase is flip it.
Yeah, yes, we messed up, and how do we fix it next time?
Exactly.
Yes, and baby, put that on a t-shirt. Yes, and
You're gonna, the next Spaces meetup, I'm gonna have that shirt for you.
deal. Hey, pretty probably sometime in like February and March, because that'll be your
Okay.
1-year anniversary. So we want to
Oh
try to
wow.
do things in the springtime. And
Yeah. So I'll have to have that and a copy of my book for you.
oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Jeez,
Yeah.
I'm spoiled over here.
You are. All I get is a coffee. No,
Stop. Yeah, right. We're gonna shake that up a little bit next time. I heard, yeah, you and Marissa, even if you didn't know it yet, are gonna help me plan the best party that North Bay can maybe have.
Hey, we can do that.
I know we can. So let's
do it. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for being with me tonight and coming on this, because it's one I've been looking forward to. And this will go live tomorrow night. So
excited.
I want to thank you so much.
Of course. No, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Same.
It was an instant yes and for me when you said when you pitched this to me, and yeah, I couldn't be happier, and I'm excited to I'm a little self-conscious. I don't always like to listen to myself, but this is one that I will be listening to and
Awesome.
and excited to share.
Yeah, we'll share it to all the Spaces staff.
Everybody. People in the office were coming to me saying, like, "Are you gonna shave that ugly thing on your face before your big interview today?" And I was like, "No, I'm not. It's beautiful, isn't it?" No, they weren't that mean, but somebody did tug on it today, so I think they're just getting a little concerned that I'm not gonna take care of it, but I promise I am.
Aw.
For
You
those of
will.
you
You're
who
on
are
stage.
yeah,
You
for
have
those
to.
of you who are just listening, yeah, there is a hair on my face. That's what we're talking about. Well,
All right. Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for coming on tonight. And I think next time we're going to feature Jason Stewart, who is an art teacher from Espanola District High School.
amazing.
And super looking forward to him. I've actually spoken for his classes before, so that'll be a blast to kind of reconnect. I've actually traveled to Espo to talk and facilitate quick little art battles with all his students and
Love that.
things. So it was a lot of fun, and he's actually done an art battle for me. So it'll be a little bit of a reconnection, and again another northern route. But anyways, thank you so much. I'm going to let Andrew go, and we will talk to you next time on the Universal Heart. Have a great night.
Ciao.